Hey, what's up, guys? JP Breaks back with another video. I'm just gonna quickly go over how it is to use. Um, I think it's like photo stream capture with the scanner. I use the FI, the FI 8170, I believe it is. So on the side, I reset my batch, named it. It's gonna be a couple of Star Wars cards. I'm gonna set it up for manual feed. So you get that little error message right now, but I'm gonna get a quick overlay of me actually feeding the scanner. You can fit about 5 or 6 cards at a time, and then you just gotta constantly like feed them through. But you gotta get nice pictures of the front and the back. So kind of see that little image up top. I'm just feeding them through, and it just goes. It pushes them out. Get a nice little picture front and back. So I believe we're doing about 10 cards here, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. But sometimes you gotta flip the images a little bit. Kind of see me feeding a couple more, making sure everything gets a nice picture front and back. You can see everything. There are different videos online to toy with the settings to make chromium cards really pop. But see, everything's kind of pushed out. Getting the last couple cards in. Kind of give it a second. There we go. So open up the Fujitsu software, and I'm just gonna go around making sure all the pictures are orientated the right way. So a couple landscape cards right here. Orientate those correctly. Go through. And for some reason my screen zoomed in a little bit, but I'm just gonna complete the batch. Everything's done. I already know what folder I want to put them in. But if you have a specific folder you want to put them in, you can kind of choose that. And it's really hard to add them to a current folder, only because then you kind of have to like override and copy over a couple of pictures, which I don't want to do. I'll just add them to a folder later on if I want to do one complete batch. But we're done with that, and we're gonna go over to CardDealerPro. I'm gonna name my batch. So Star Wars cards. I believe these were from Topps Chrome from this year. I'm gonna make sure we're in not like a non-sports category. We have different options: sports, TCG, but kind of leave everything as it is. I'll do prices later on, but we're gonna do Magic Scan. Do raw cards front and back, and I'm just gonna find that folder. Make sure I have everything selected, so I have front and back, and it kind of differentiates both of them. And it's just to scan them through. Sometimes it finds them, sometimes it doesn't. Listen, especially with newer cards, right at release, the database isn't completely updated. No fault to CardDealerPro at all. It's a lot of stuff. If you look at like a lot of releases, there's a bunch of stuff that happens at one time. And with all the parallels and different variations of cards, it's a lot to upload. So doing things right around launch is very hard to get the actual data from the card right off the rip, but that is fine. We do have an option to go through and still search for the cards and make sure we have everything. I believe here I'm adding another card, I believe. If anything, I will delete this out. But I think there was a couple more cards I wanted to add. And yeah, we're going to do that real quick. There's no screen capture of that, but just added a couple more cards. And what I'm going to do is upload them in, get the images, go back to CardDealerPro. Or I can just kind of, now what I said before, copy and paste those cards. So we create a new folder, find that folder, just drag them over. Takes a second, but realize I can't do that. So I'm going to drag them into the main folder, get those 2 images, and just drag them into there. And then when we go back to CardDealerPro, I'm just going to select those 2 cards. So we already have that batch. I'm going to add those last 2 cards. Can't find them. Don't worry, we'll go back. Look at the folder again. I think I added them to the wrong one. But we'll find them eventually. There we go. Found the right batch. Those last 2 cards. Bam. well, last card, front and back image. We're going to add them through, and then we populate things. If you notice, sometimes it finds a card very similar to it. It does like almost like a facial recognition of it. And sometimes it's wrong, you know? Sometimes you get a Pokemon card when it's really a Star Wars card, and that's fine. What we'll do is we'll look at the back of the card. I usually punch in the card number and then the name of the card. And I'm typing that in there into the database search. And then we find that card, click it, and then I usually upload everything but base. So we'll go in there, and especially a card like this, that's a refractor. So I'm going to type in that card number, type in Drash at the top of that after I type in the card number, and we should have that card right there. Boom. And then what I'll do is go into the subset or parallel category after I click it, and we'll just go and look up refractor. You'll get the old number parallels. If there isn't one listed for the one you have, you can add it in manually, but go through, search it through. There we don't have refractor, so we're going to add that in. So base refractor is not there. We'll add that in. I'm going to copy and paste it just in case I have to add it for a couple more cards, but try to speed up the rest of this process only because there's so many cards that we're doing. So I'm going to hop off the voiceover and just speed up the rest of this. All right, kind of hop back in here. We have an Axe Wolves refractor. Don't know the exact name of it, so what I'm going to do on the side tab is just kind of look up the checklist. Sometimes typing it on the top. Got that 2024 Star Wars Topps Chrome. Beckett always has a really good job with checklists. Just going to scroll down, and we're going to see, all right, that's the name of our refractor. So I'm going to go through, make sure I have the right card in there. Just have to type it in again. And where are we? Scrolling through. This might take a second, but it's all right. Making sure we have the right card. And just making sure we have the right refractor every time we go through this. So something unique about the Topps Chrome refractor set, they all have different names, not just your standard red, green, blue. They have like the Kyber crystal name, or they have like a specific name for it. We see this with this Amidala. Got the blue refractor, got the name in front of it, and I'm doing this on my phone, can't really read what I'm typing in, but we're gonna type in that card number, Padme Amidala, boom. We're gonna find that card, and we're gonna try to find the right parallel with that too. And then same thing, excuse me. But now we have a different subset too with that that seg. It's not just the number parallel, but it's also the Urabesh one too. So making sure we have the right card number as we type that in. Make sure we have the green parallel going with it. Going through. Should be able to find it. Just double checking the name. But always good to have a checklist if you're doing one big set of cards. Like say you open up a box, you're uploading everything that you found. Making sure you have that checklist open. Making sure you have the right subsets and parallels going on with everything. Have the most accurate description of each card. So now we have an auto, and autos have a different subset for their parallels as well. So making sure we're doing the same thing with that Greedo. It is an auto. And the good thing about CardDealerPro is that you can go in and kind of tweak little things if they aren't up to date. So say that blue parallel's not there, I could type it in. If that auto card isn't there, I could type it in, change the card number, change the name, do what I need to do to also update their database. And then we're going to go through and use that eBay recent sales tab to now look up different cards, making sure we have an accurate number that we can use for the pricing. I tend to use a slightly inflated price. So if I see a card and the last sale was in this instance $32.95, I'll probably bump it up to $35.40. Just have a little wiggle room when it comes to pricing. You got to get talked down in pricing. People are always looking for the best deals, and I'm always here for steals and deals. So I will slightly inflate my prices only because if you bundle up or you get multiple cards, I will work with you on the price, get you right at comps or right below comps, just so we're both happy with the sale. But going through, see this card's usually going for about $10. I'll inflate it a little bit to like 15. I'm $1. Go in. Last sale was for $10.50. Another card I'll probably list for like 15. Just to make sure I have a little wiggle room, and I will go through using that eBay recent sales tab. To kind of get a decent price that I can list it for right away. Best thing about CollX, they take away the least amount of seller fees, so it's very seller friendly. They take all the hassle of the shipping labels and all that stuff, and basically once you sell a card or you create a deal on a card, once it goes through and it's approved, I'll get a notification. All I gotta do is print it out, pack it up, and send it out. I don't have to worry about buying a label or making sure it's the right label. You have different settings that under 3 ounces, I can use the white envelope system. So what I would use is envelopes from card shells. I'll probably do another video later on about shipping processes, how I ship out different cards. In this case, raw cards under a certain amount, or just raw cards in general underneath that weight of 3.2 ounces, I believe it is. You get to use the white envelope, use card shells envelopes for that, and then anything above a certain price or above a certain weight will use your standard first class shipping from USPS. So it is very easy to get your packing slip, get your shipping label. From the shipping label, you kind of know what type of packaging you're to use. A lot of these cards, if they're not bundled together, if there's not multiple in an order, they're all going to be in the envelopes. I can just put it in there. I use a little card protector as well after I put it in a team bag to make sure it's very well protected, and send that right away. But we're just going to kind of go through, watch the process of me trying to come up with prices for everything, and should be almost done. I think so. I'll 2 more cards, so I'm going to stay on here going through it. Refractors are usually about $2-3 card. Inserts, same thing, $1 to $2 cards, depending on the character in question. But hey, go through, and then after I'm done with all the pricing, I'm gonna make sure they are ready to list. So I'm gonna expedite that, make sure I have everything here. I'm gonna go into the inspector page, just click all of them, and you kind of see it. You can't really see it, it's off camera, but it's gonna be a published tool on the top right corner of CardDealerPro. So I'm gonna go publish these out. Can't really make out how many cards I have. I want to say about 15, 16, maybe less. But we're gonna publish those cards out. When you do publish them, you'll get a little notification on the bottom saying that it's sent through. And go to my CollX app, and if you look, everything is there. Everything we just uploaded. So all those scans, all the information input, really quick, and thanks to CardDealerPro and CollX. Thanks for watching.